On the topic of Master Looter versus Personal Looter, the weird thing about it is that BFA and Shadowlands have both been exceptionally bad expansions. And Shadowlands is not nearly as bad as BFA was. Anyone that wants to argue with that is you're having nostalgia problems, bud. Like Shadowlands is bad, but it's not BFA bad. Why does Fellblade not generate uh energy sometimes? This is fine.
Trinketed Warrior. Super Smash.
So
Conqueror's Banner.
it's
Guardian
pretty good.
Spirit.
I'll just wall here.
Very Mortal Strike. Reflection
Just
down.
gonna. My healer needs to probably link or something.
ID.
Let me go sign up for a team actually. Sure, this will be fun. This is a comp right here. This is a marksman, right? Oh shit, my game started.
Conqueror's Banner. Vengeance Guardian Spirit. Trinketed Tally. Avenging Very Mortal Strike.
Darkness here.
Trinketed Priest. Super Smash. Reflection down.
Oh. I'll just trinket this shit.
Bubble down. Divine Tone. Avenging Wrath. Reflection down.
Not. Imprison the healer full. Alright, I got big dam here. Got him. Thing about Master Looter is that it does actually cause a fuckload of drama. I understand why they took it out of the game, because it was a serious point of contention in there, like from a money perspective, having to deal with all these like requests of, oh, this guy stole my loot and blah blah blah. We need you to ban this guy for loot steal, when like in personal loot, Blizzard doesn't have to deal with that at all. It's just, oh, your loot can't get stolen. What, you're gonna report someone for looting the boss and not trading an item? You can kick them from your guild if you want, but you know, it's not against the rules. It's their item. I do like the protection. Like, I feel like if you partake in a mythic raid, you should have an equal chance at loot, because mythic raiding is kind of difficult. Plus, you know, one huge upside to personal loot is that the boss only drops things that are good for your raid. Everything that drops is going to be something that a raider can actually equip. You know, in master loot, and you see this in classic all the time. Shit's dropping that ain't no one fucking needs. Ain't no one fucking needs. The loot in vanilla classic is particularly bad.
Vanish.
We got Vanish. Oh god, heal yourself, bud.
Trinketed Hunter.
What's that? Oh, imprison the mind games.
Mind Games. Blind.
I'm blind, it'll trinket that.
Guardian Spirit. Evasion. Shadow Blaze.
Darkness on my guy, and he runs out of it immediately.
Nelly.
Yeah, I mean, I've raided with master loot and with personal loot, and I prefer personal loot. I really do. I hate that in Shadowlands the amount of items that drop per boss is lowered. It should be like you should get looted pretty quickly for being a mythic raider. You know, I have a friend that has killed Kel'Thas I don't know how many times, over 15 for sure. He's a pretty high-end mythic raider. He's like US top 50. He doesn't have a Jaethus. It's the only item in the entire raid that he wants is a Jaethus. He's a warrior. Most warriors have 2 Jaethuses at this point, and he doesn't have a single one. That's like absurd to me. He hasn't gotten it from the box ever, and he's gotten a minimum of 2 box options every single week. Definitely there are flaws. There's flaws with the loot system in the game. A lot of people say they want tokens to come back. They're like personal loot plus tokens would be ideal. And I think I did like coins kind of. I don't know. I'm iffy on coins because they were always really tilting. I always felt like they just gave crap. But then sometimes, you know, every once in a blue moon they gave you your BIS item and you're like, man, I love coins. You know, I've coined a lot of BIS loot in my time. But I mean, when you think about it, if you're only using your coin on one specific boss over and over and over, of course you're eventually going to get loot, and of course eventually it's going to hit the thing that you want. I just didn't like the process of obtaining coins. That's probably the worst part. I'm probably gonna go. What the fuck? Mass entangled. Triple stun here.
Poly. Solar beam. Poly.
I can't stop the poly.
Poly. Trinketed. Priest. Cyclone. Convoke. Counter.
How did the dots not break that instantly?
Cyclone. Mind games. Counter.
Oh fuck, I didn't
Cyclone.
I-beam first.
Poly. Guardian Spirit.
I played that really bad. We need to be on the Frost Mage,
Poly.
not the
Cyclone.
Alright, we got the block there.
Counter.
Turn up the healer. The trap's off. Oh,
Trinketed.
prison. Can I
Drift.
prison off? Quarter? Wow, the druid died. I've raid led in Master Loot on TBC, and my guild didn't fall apart because of loot, but loot drama was a big contributing factor to like large amounts of social friction in the guild. Like people just fucking hated each other, and then my loot rules, they were just like RNG basically. It was like if an item is on your BIS list, you can roll for it, and we also had a reserve system, so you could reserve something that was your BIS. And that's how most people do Classic, is like you just choose a couple items to reserve. And there's no the thing about Master Loot is there is literally no perfect system. There is no such thing as a perfect system. Lady Luck is basically the best you can get.
Ultimate
Because
cooldown.
there are literally problems with every single loot system. I'm not gonna stand on this shit and DPS that guy.
Countered. Healing Tide. Unholy Nova. Power Infusion. Platform. Grounding. Siphon. Trinketed. Priest.
Heal this guy? So you just need to... He just needs to use his own cooldowns.
Blur. Ascendance. X. Countered.
Oh wait, this guy's
Astral
on
Shift.
stun DR. I didn't even
RB.
check. I just assumed he wasn't. We need to be on the
X.
Shadow Priest.
Mind control. Countered.
Oh my god, I'm getting Dwayne stunned. Can this NPC shut the fuck up? Our comp's pretty fucking bad, to say the least.
Vengeance Shield.
I'll stun half.
Mighty Bash. Cyclone Wrath.
Sneak down this thing. I think we should be on the rat, honestly.
Avenging Wrath.
Yeah, we're gonna be on the rat here.
Cyclone. Trinketed. Monk.
I'm pulling full.
Bubble down. Cyclone.
I don't have a stun anyways.
Cyclone.
I don't have any peel left. The hunter needs to peel something. Alright. We might peel one, we might peel one.
Scenario.
He hasn't used Karma is the problem.
Avenging Wrath. Touch of Karma.
I have Imprison soon.
Karma down.
Oh, we actually won. I
Druid.
have to learn how to trinket better. It's interesting.
Mighty bash.
It's like trinketing the first CC that hits you is generally bad, like, because you want to trinket to kill something. As you get higher rating, like if you're just trinketing the first CC, you're gonna lose every game. You need to be like achieving something with your trinket, like force their trinket or do so much damage with your trinket that you force a cooldown. Like your trinket should force a reaction from them, or it should save your life. Those one or someone else's life. If your trinket is not saving someone's life on your team or forcing them to react with substantial CC like CDs, your trinket is a waste. That's like the easiest way to think about it. And the problem with holding trinket though is it leads to sometimes games like that where you don't trinket until the game's already over. Like, you know, when he spam cycloning me, I don't have stun. I didn't have either of my stuns. I didn't have imprison. So I didn't have any way to. The only peel I could use for my healer is darkness. So what? I'm gonna trinket the cyclone, charge darkness. That could have worked. That could have been a thing. That actually is what I should have trinketed that game. I should have trinketed to darkness the healer. And on the topic of my WoW guild, like in TBC and Master Loot, I hated Master Looting so much. I hated it so fucking much. So much loot drama. People are so mad at each other all the time. I mean, even I partook in it. Like I was mad that this other person. I had these specific loot reserves, and then he had these other loot reserves, and then we actually get to the raid, and he changed his loot reserves like 2 minutes before raid to copy mine, and that that just tilted the fuck out of me. Well, we got a freebie, I guess.
Trinketed. Demon Hunter. Divine favor. I beam. Favor down. Countered.
Was it fast enough? I have to practice my dispel kick.
Divine beam. Double down.
Just darkness here.
Darkness. Countered.
No, you're not gonna die through dark. The reason why I hated it so much was just the stress. Because people felt like it was unfair. Like a lot of people hated the loot system because it was RNG, and people wanted loot favoritism, which means that you give loot based on performance, which that is a reasonable way to do it. Like if someone, you know, you want to gear out your best performers, but it also leads to situations where people will say like, oh, this guild is a toxic guild because they just give loot to all their friends and they don't give loot to anyone else. It's like, well, yeah, I give loot to my friends because they're my friends, and also because they're good. You know, you have to be honest with yourself when you're doing stuff like that. The worst thing you could ever do is lie to yourself about that. No, lying to yourself and saying like, oh, we just give loot to the best players. It's like, okay, but you're giving all the loot to your friends, and no one else is getting looted. I think we got Windwalker, right?
Capacitor. Trinketed. Mondas. Demon Hunter. Hex.
Tried getting that. I didn't get it in time. I'm gonna darkness for my team here. He ran out of it immediately.
Karma.
I'm gonna imprison the healer full here. A wall.
Karma down.
This guy's taking big damn.
Ascendance. Spirit may totem. Fortifying brew.
Oh my god, it's so impossible. This guy might die in the stun here. Yeah, we got him. God damn it.
Countered. Hex.
Oh my god, he hit me with that. Alright, I got him. So yeah, my last thing I want to say about Master Loot is that there is no perfect solution. Like, Master Loot has a lot of problems. It makes the game more toxic. you have to find like chill social group. It makes it harder to find chill social groups to raid in, but it also lends like a social factor to a part of the game that can't exist without it. I think the perfect solution is to have both loot options in the game, have master loot as an option in the game, and also have personal loot in the game as an option. I think taking away master loot is bad ultimately. Even though it's objectively toxic as
Cyclone.
fuck, like people should be able to make those
Very
choices.
mortal smash. Chakram.
This guy better be able to take care of himself,
Binary ward.
because
Trapped.
I'm trapped.
Cyclone.
Just spell me.
Cyclone.
Or don't.
Cyclone.
I'm clump half, I guess. So I guess what I say, like, trinketing, there's no point in trinketing here because,
Conqueror's banner.
you know, I'm not really achieving too
Trinketed.
much.
Warrior.
My team's just dead. I need like a macro that yells when I put darkness down.
Mighty Bash. Very mortal strike.
Nah, my guy's just
Death
dead.
Chakram.
That's okay. It's one of those games where I ended up like, you know,
Super
trinketing
Smash.
nothing was bad, but I don't know, the comp I'm playing is really bad.
Cyclone.
Anyway, that'll be it.